The boy first noticed it through the garage window. It was one of those quiet evenings where the house felt settled in for the night. The lights in the kitchen were dim, the television was murmuring somewhere in the background, and the cold outside had turned the garage window into a kind of glowing frame. Inside that frame was his dad. His dad was holding a broom like it was a guitar. Not just holding it either. Playing it. Leaning back, strumming invisible chords, shaking his head like a rock star who had just hit the big moment in a stadium show. The boy stood there for a minute just watching. At first he thought it was funny. Parents weren't supposed to do that sort of thing. Parents were supposed to stand still and talk about bills or remind you to take the trash out. They weren't supposed to be in the garage at night playing air guitar like they were in a band nobody else could hear. But the stranger part wasn't the guitar. The stranger part was what his dad was saying. Through the glass he could hear pieces of it. Something about Christmas, except the words were colorful. Christmas comes this time each year. Then a string of profanity that made the boy raise his eyebrows a little. His dad was laughing while he sang it, really laughing. The kind of laugh you only hear when someone forgets they're supposed to be acting like a grown-up. And for a moment, standing there in the dark outside the garage window, the boy realized something odd. His dad looked like he was 16. Not in the way he looked, of course. The hair was different, and the shoulders were heavier than the boy remembered them being when he was younger. But the way he was moving, that part looked young. What the boy didn't know, couldn't know yet, was that years earlier, when his dad was managing a restaurant, some of the employees had handed him a CD one night at the end of a shift. It wasn't wrapped in paper or anything. Just a plastic case with a cover that looked like it belonged to a world he wasn't really part of anymore. The album was Enema of the State by Blink-182. Now the funny thing was, it wasn't really the music itself that stuck with him that night. It was the gesture. Those young employees had looked at their manager, a man already well into adulthood, and decided he was cool enough to be included, cool enough to share their music. And when you reach a certain age, that kind of thing matters more than people think. So he took the CD home, played it in the car, and laughed at how ridiculous and loud and unapologetic it was. Which is how, years later, on an otherwise ordinary night, a grown man ended up in his garage with a broom guitar, shouting the words to a Christmas song that was absolutely not meant for polite company. Inside the house, the boy watched through the window. He couldn't quite decide if what he was seeing was embarrassing or amazing. Probably both. And in that quiet moment, one outside in the dark and one inside the garage light, two people were smiling for almost the exact same reason. The father felt young again. The son realized his dad had once been young, and without either of them saying a word to each other, a memory was being made for both of them at the exact same time.